Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another season of USCFootball.com's film study. I'm Shotgun Spratling alongside Keely Ure, and we're here to break down some of the little things that killed the Trojans and a couple of the positives from their 42-28 loss to Stanford in Week 2. Let's jump right into it. We'll start with the positives. Stanford comes out in their Wildcat personnel for the first time on the opening drive. They picked up a first down. They try to run a little bit of trickeration, go with a reverse, and try to catch USC, not focusing and trying to over-pursue, something that USC has done in the past, and Stanford has hit them with some misdirection previously. This defense stays disciplined, and it starts with Greg Johnson. He's going to do a great job on this of reading the play and coming up and making the play, making a tackle for loss. We'll see him right here in the slot. He sees it, reads it, doesn't get blocked, comes up, makes a great play, sticks out the leg, a little bit of a trip there, but he gets away with it. Also, Isaac Taylor-Stewart here was doing a great job as well, staying home on the play. But give the credit to the defenders for doing their job, not trying to do too much, something that the USC teams of past have really struggled with. On the very next play, we see Stanford coming out with 3 tight ends here with a fullback, no wide receivers on the field. USC is going to match it with their base defense is what I call it. They have 3 down linemen, 2 outside linebackers, and then they're going to bring up the safeties and the linebackers to be in the box to be able to play against this. Nick Figueroa here is going to make a great play. We're going to see him right here. He's going to knife through. They're going to try to run over here to the left. Nick Figueroa is going to does a great job of, they're trying to reach block here, slant block. He goes right through it, comes down the line, presses down, makes the tackle. A second tackle for loss in a row for USC. That matches their amount from Week 1 against San Jose State. The defense came out and made some early plays to get USC the ball right back. 2 very nice plays from the defense, but here we see those little details that came back to bite USC in the butt in this game. We're going to see that USC on 3rd and 21, they're going to try to put in a pass rush package, but they've only got 10 guys on the field here. You're going to see Todd Orlando up here at the top. He's going to be running down the sideline to try to get to the referee to call a timeout. USC has to waste a timeout early because they only have 10 defenders on the field. USC forces a punt, does a good job to get off the field, but because Stanford is in plus territory, they're going to use their punt return safe. They're going to keep the defense on the field, except for Gary Bryant is going to take the spot as the punt returner for one of the safeties. The problem is USC, another small detail, Gary Bryant wears number 1. Well, Greg Johnson was already on the field with the defense wearing number 1. So USC actually has 2 number 1s on the field at the same time. You see him here, far right, Greg Johnson, and then back at the back, Gary Bryant. This could have been a penalty. USC gets away with it because of Pac-12 refs. But again, another small detail that just went overlooked. They corrected this on the next punt return, but a play that they got away with. Even if they would have got a penalty, it was 4th 11, they still would have had to punt. Stanford would have. But this is the type of details that USC really has to lock in and key in. USC's opening possession, they're going to come out in a different look than they showed against San Jose State. They're coming out in 5 wides, but this is even a little bit different than the 5 wides USC has done in a couple of the past seasons. They're going to start with Michael Trigg in the top left slot here and Malcolm Epps, 2 tight ends on the field at the same time, both of them split out. They've moved Drake London in here to the inside to try to get him some unique looks as well from what he's normally been lining up. And USC's going to run, they're going to have the 3 wide receivers run short curl routes, and they're going to run the 2 tight ends long. If Keaton Slovis notices this, Stanford's going to actually go into drop 8 coverage. We're going to see these 3 guys are going to come. Everyone else is backing up. This is something that Stanford will do throughout the game. Keaton Slovis is first looking outside at Gary Bryant and then into the middle to Drake London. But if he looks early and notices drop 8, he had a great opportunity up here in the corner to Michael Trigg, the safety at the pre-snap. We'll go back here in just a second and look at, he's in the middle of the field, the high safety, and he's moving over towards the middle even more. If he notices this early, Michael Trigg, that might be an option right up there, and give the young playmaker an opportunity to make a play early in the game. Instead, good protection from the offensive line against the 3 down linemen, but Keaton Slovis ends up throwing the ball away. USC goes 3 and out on their first possession. They get a nice punt from Ben Griffiths to flip the field, a 58-yarder, puts Stanford back inside their own 15-yard line, but they give up a huge play on the first play of this drive. Nathaniel Pete's going to take it. Just a nice, simple play from Stanford, just a power run to the left. USC does not fit it right. You're going to see Raylan Goforth here is super aggressive off the snap. It reads the run. He's coming up, but he and Nick Figueroa, one of the two guys, does not fit the gap correctly. They leave an opening. Drake Jackson does a nice job being outside, but he gets pushed out a little bit too much. He's setting the edge to force it back inside, but there's this gap here. Chris Steele comes inside. Now there's a hole, and Kalen Bullock does not do a good job of being the top defender. He's got to take a little bit better angle, and because of that, Nathaniel Pete is off to the races. An 87-yard touchdown, which David Shaw said really helped his team relax and let them kind of feel like it was the basket in basketball when you're struggling, that one to open the lid a little bit, and then they were able to play with a lead throughout the night because of this first touchdown. Here's a look. You can see it a little bit better here. Just watch Raylan Goforth and Nick Figueroa. One of these guys is not getting far enough over, and that creates the vacancy here that Nathaniel Pete's going to be able to run through. Good job by Goforth being aggressive and getting up the line of scrimmage. But as you can see, Nick Figueroa here, this gap. And Nick Figueroa has been dealing with a right arm issue. You see he just can't get that arm up to be able to make an arm tackle or at least slow him down. And then Bullock here, you see, just doesn't have the right angle. Pete, the speed, surprised Bullock a little bit. He gets outside and takes it down the sideline for the score. Again, it's about the small details. USC has a 3rd and 3. The play clock's winding down. You see Slovis is moving Keontae Ingram. He's not sure exactly where he's lining up. Now you see up here at the top, you got Drake London and Clay Helton trying to wave to Michael Trigg. Now Keaton Slovis is looking to the sideline, trying to get the snap. He tries to move Keontae Ingram before and then get the snap. All these things while the play clock is winding down and expiring. USC takes a delay of game. Would have been a 3rd and 3. Instead, it becomes a 3rd and 8. A 3rd and 8 they will not pick up. A really nice, well-designed blitz here from Todd Orlando and his defense. You're going to see that Drake Jackson is on the top. He gets so much respect from the offense that they're going to slant their protection towards his side. You're going to see Chase Williams coming up a little bit early. He shows his blitz, maybe a little too early, but because of that, Stanford knows he's coming, so they are looking for him. The running back knows, I'm going to step up and pick him up, but they don't account because they're slant protection this way. They don't account for Raymond Scott. He has a clean run through, and he gets this nice hit on Tanner McKee right in the ribs that creates the incomplete pass here. If he had a little bit more time, you see there's a little separation that could have been a first down. Instead, because of the design and because of the respect to Drake Jackson, who you see right here in the middle of the field, because he dropped into coverage, you get an opportunity to get a hit on the quarterback early and get off the field on 3rd down. USC's in a 3rd and 1 situation right here, those short yardage situations where they've really struggled in the past. Nice little wrinkle here. We're going to see Drake London come in motion, and he's basically going to act as an H-back here. But we notice that Vavae Malapei is a little bit deeper than Keaton Slovis. We've seen in the past years when USC does this with their running backs, that usually means they're trying to run between the tackles. And then when you bring London in on this play so that he becomes that H-back, he's going to come into motion. He's going to pause for a second, and he's going to come across, and something we've seen from the tight ends when they're in the H-back, come across and be a cross blocker to lead the way, and Vavae Malapei is going to follow that. Jude Wolfe does a good job. He gets beat initially, but he stays with the block, and because of that, he pushes the guy out of the way, allows Vavae Malapei to get outside. He's going to be able to pick up the first down with the help of that Drake London block. First down, USC, picking up a short yardage situation. USC using a 2-back set here with 3 wide receivers. This is something they've done a good amount in the first 2 games. We're going to see that Stanford's going to try a little twist game here with a stunt action between the defensive tackle and the defensive end. It's something that they got to hit on Slovis a little bit earlier on a 3rd down play. But Jalen McKenzie and Liam Jimmons are going to do a nice job passing this off to each other. And then we're going to see when this defensive tackle falls and loses his balance a little bit, Jalen McKenzie is just going to bury him in the ground. Liam Jimmons gets beat a little bit, loses his balance, but does a nice job right here of regaining his composure and setting up. Look at how much time that Keaton Slovis has on this. He goes through multiple progressions, looks at different guys, and then finds Joseph Manjack for his first catch for a first down. Don't freak out, USC fans. You're not hallucinating. Keaton Slovis is actually under center here for the first time in the Graham Harrell tenure. You're going to see USC is going to run a jet sweep motion with Gary Bryant, and they could actually probably hand the ball off to him. Jude Wolfe does a nice job sealing the edge. They fake it to him. Something they may come back to in the future is running that jet sweep and handing the ball to Gary Bryant. Instead, they're going to run the counter play off of it, pitch it out to Keontae Ingram going the other way. What's interesting is this is a play that USC scored against Stanford in 2013 when Ed Orgeron and the Trojans upset Stanford at home and the fans rushed the field. But Ingram's going to look at it. He sees, maybe I can get to the edge. Maybe I can get to the edge. The problem is another little detail. Drake London doesn't hold his block out here, and so Ingram sees that. We can see it from this other angle here. He's going to see that the defender is going to be able to be there. Instead of having a chance to potentially get to the edge and dive for the pylon, he reads that Drake London doesn't have that block anymore, so he tries to cut it back inside here and go through the defender and try to barrel his way in. Unfortunately, it doesn't work. He gets back to the line of scrimmage, but the first time going under center, USC fans have been clamoring for it. Doesn't end in a successful play for USC because they can't hold a block on the outside. On the next play, USC is going to go back to the shotgun, but let's give it to Ingram again, give him an opportunity to go straight downhill. They do a little bit of window dressing here. You're going to see Drake London come in motion to keep the outside linebacker outside, and you're going to see Keontae Ingram straight ahead, going to run into a defender, but the offensive line, Keontae Ingram, continues to keep pushing, and then you're going to see Brett Nealon and Jalen McKenzie help him get into the end zone to get USC on the board. We'll get a better look at it from this angle right here. You're going to see Brett Nealon. The defensive tackle does a really nice job of pushing Nealon back, standing him up, keeping his arm free, and coming off to try to make the tackle. But Nealon does a good job. Once this defensive tackle goes down, he recognizes what's happening here, gets back to his feet, gets on that sled, that fall camp, that spring camp, the summer sled workout, and pushes Keontae Ingram into the end zone for the score. Stanford's in USC territory here. The play action that they're going to run right here is going to suck up the linebackers, which opens up a window over the middle. You're going to see that tight end going over the middle, open receiver, but Kalen Bullock's going to do a nice job of coming in and providing a big pop right here. He's going to dislodge the ball for him, but this play ends up negatively for USC because over here on the left you see Chris Steele is going to come in and shove the wide receiver right here. He picks up a 15-yard penalty. Now, he may have thought it was a fumble. He may have thought something else, but he's super excited about it. Unfortunately for USC fans, they weren't super excited to see that yellow hanky come out. Stanford has 3rd and goal at the 5-yard line here in the second quarter. David Shaw said after the game he was planning to go for it and use both 3rd and 4th down, but unfortunately they weren't able to get yardage on this, so he had to change his mind, brings out the field goal unit. Of course, we know how that ends with an offsides penalty and then going for it on 4th down. But a really nice play right here from Stanley Tafu in the middle. He doesn't get much herald in this game, but he played almost every snap from the defensive tackle position, and he does a great job here. He doesn't even get credit for the tackle here, but he's going to push this play back. You see the center going backwards, and you see the running back has nowhere to go. Tafu doesn't actually make the tackle. That's going to come down. I believe it's Hunter Eccles here and Tuli Tuipulotu are going to combine to make it. But it's all about Stanley's work in the middle, pushing that pile back and stuffing the play before it can get started. He actually ends up over here on the bottom of the pile. Everyone's jumping on top of him. He gets no credit at all, but we're going to give him a little bit of love, a little bit of credit because he's the one that created this tackle for loss for USC. USC gets the ball after the Stanford touchdown on 4th down. They're going to try to take a shot, try to get some big yardage to open up the drive. You're going to see they're going to go play action. Watch Drake London down here. You're going to see him go right by the cornerback who's got his eyes in the backfield. And, the safety's going to be over top, but this is going to be a one-on-one potential throw for Keaton Slovis to Drake London. But instead, because they don't get good blocking up front, Eric Cromanhook's going to get pushed back here. You're going to see the linebacker coming up, number 45 right here, shoves Cromanhook backwards and then gets pressure on Slovis, forces him out. You see Cromanhook go down. Slovis has to take off outside the pocket, picks up some yards. Good job of him scrambling, but he gets spun around, an extra hit on your quarterback there, and that's an opportunity not, being able to take that shot downfield and give Drake London an opportunity in a one-on-one matchup. Here's a play where USC is going to pick up some solid yardage. They're going to get an 8-yard run right here from Vavae Malapei, but there's opportunities for them to have more explosive plays if they can hold their blocks a little bit longer. We're going to see Andrew Voorhees here, the left guard, is going to get pushed back initially, but does a good job of regaining his momentum and pushing the pile forward here. He's going to help open up a hole, as well as Eric Cromenhoek and Cortland Ford's doing a nice job getting to the second level, getting on the linebacker, but Eric Cromenhoek can't hold that block for long enough to let Vavae Malepeai get by without the tackler being there. Same thing with Drake London. If he can hold his block a little bit longer, maybe Vi gets to the edge, picks up another 6, 7, 8, 9. Who knows how many yards if he can get down that sideline. You're going to be able to take on a safety one-on-one. Instead, because you don't hold those blocks for long enough, it's an 8-yard game, which is solid on first down, but could be a little bit more. USC's down inside the red zone once again. A little bit over 2 minutes left in the first half. They're trying to tie things up with Stanford on a second down play here. You're going to see a nice job by K.D. Nixon. You see him over here on the corner pointing out. He's saying, hey, this guy's going to blitz. This guy's going to blitz. He's pointing out to Keaton Slovis. Good job of communicating that. You're going to see Keaton Slovis recognizes, sees that blitz coming. He's going to throw in the vacated area where the blitzer was. That's what you want to do all the time. Nice slant route by Drake London. You got an opportunity for a nice catch, potentially get in the end zone. But because he stared Drake London down the entire time, the blitzer is able to jump up and knock that ball down. And then on the other side, if Keaton Slovis would have had a little bit more time and wasn't throwing to Drake London, you see Eric Cromenhoek could have been wide open there for the flag route in the corner of the end zone as well. On the next play, USC is going to bring Drake London in motion, going to bring him down inside, give him all this room out here to work on one-on-one with the DB. He's going to run a beautiful route here, going to open up to the outside, put his foot in the ground, go to the post here. Keaton Slovis is going to throw it, has a great opportunity to connect for a touchdown. It's about 6 inches, a little bit wide of Drake London being able to catch it. But on this play also, you got multiple guys open on this. You got Taj Washington and Eric Cromenhoek running crossing routes. Both of those guys have a little bit of separation. Jude Wolfe blocked initially, and now he is wide open here. And the commentators really want him to throw it at Jude Wolfe. I don't have a problem with throwing at Drake London. Just got to make a little bit better throw on this one because London is open in the back of the end zone. That's your guy. Connect with him, and USC ties this up. Instead, a couple of inches too far out of the reach for Drake London, and USC has to settle for a field goal. It was the small details, but it was also the half seconds. USC was just a half second too slow on certain plays. On this play, we're going to see Drake Jackson coming off the edge. Going to have a great pass rush, one of his best of the night, getting around and going to get to Tanner McKee, but he needs just a half second more to be able to get there and affect the play. Instead, we're going to see a very familiar angle route from Stanford, one that they ran against USC in the Pac-12 championship with Christian McCaffrey against Olajuwon Tucker. This looks a lot like that play. You're going to see Austin Jones come out here. He gets Kanai Mauga is flat-footed up here at the top of the screen, and then we're going to see he's going to bite on the fake of the shoulders, and because of that, he steps the wrong direction, and that's all it takes. One little half lean there, that step. He has an opportunity to go over the middle. Austin Jones then gets up the middle for a big gain for Stanford, gets them down inside the red zone for an opportunity to score before the half, which they're going to do with 9 seconds left. 16 seconds left in the half. Stanford is going to get a big touchdown going into the break. Going to take a 21-10 lead. USC is trying to disguise their coverage. They've got Isaiah Polamau, the safety, down here. Looks like he's in man-to-man coverage with Elijah Higgins, but he's actually going to drop into a zone. He's going to try to get some contact with Bryson Tremaine, but it doesn't work. Tremaine runs right by him, and Polamau ends up in a little bit of no man's land. Tremaine beats Isaac Taylor-Stewart, makes a nice catch on the back end line. He's going to get that toe tap down. We'll see the toe tap right here on the replay. And you'll see that I don't exactly know what Polamau, where he's supposed to be there. He's just kind of in no man's land, not really covering anyone. And man, that guy right there on the sideline taking those photos, that's a good-looking dude. USC did a really nice job through the first 2.5 quarters of moving the ball, some long drives. Keaton Slovis was patient, a lot of drop 8 coverage from Stanford. He did what he needed to do, was patient, hitting some receivers short, hitting the check down, taking the yardage they gave him. But the problem is, once USC got in the red zone, they had some issues and weren't able to finish off drives. But also when they had one play that kind of got them off schedule, like they do on this play, where they're not able to get a play off because they bobble the snap here. Keaton Slovis does a nice job being able to retrieve the ball and throw it out of bounds near a receiver to just have an incomplete pass instead of a big loss. But that one play throws the whole drive a little bit off. On second down, they'll get 1 yard. Then on third down, they'll have a big play coming up, and it's going to be one of those just misses once again. Here's that third down play. Gary Bryant Jr. here is in the slot. He's going to run a seam route. Keaton Slovis is going to put a perfect throw on his hands, but Gary Bryant can't come up with it. USC will have to settle for a field goal. We'll watch it as it develops here. We'll see Keontae Ingram does a nice job of coming across and picking up the pressure from Stanford. They're going to have a zone pressure. You're going to see the guy down here, the defensive end, and the linebacker is going to drop out. They're trying to bring extra pressure from the top side. Ingram's going to recognize it, come across. He's going to do his job, pick up, take out the legs of this blitzer coming off the edge, giving Keaton Slovis the time. And a perfect throw right over the middle. Can't ask for a better throw from Keaton Slovis in between two defenders. That's one you got to have. USC had a couple of these in the game where it's just inches away from having extra points. Instead, you have to settle for 3 instead of 7. And USC, instead of being down by 4 points, they're down by 8 points. So that's the difference in this game, is they continue to fall behind in these little increments, piece by piece, until the big interception changed the game completely. Big play here, and again, when USC got off schedule, things kind of went against them. This is a 2nd and 1 play. They picked up 9 yards on first down. USC is going to try to run the ball to the right side here. But this is going to be a tough block for Brett Nealon. You're asking him to reach and get in front of this defensive tackle who's basically on the inside shoulder of the guard. It's going to be a really tough block for him. And the defensive tackle does a nice job of fighting through and blowing up this play, and then also just grabbing Keontae Ingram with one hand and throwing him down. USC loses 4 yards and goes from being potentially a 3rd and 1 to a 3rd and 5. So that makes their options much different. They're going to try to throw the ball on this 3rd and 5 play, and the game is going to change drastically as Keaton Slovis tries to connect with Drake London on the bottom on the slant, a little bit behind him. Caillou Kelly picks it up, takes it to the house. Keaton Slovis can't knock him out of bounds. He dives for the pylon. Touchdown. USC, with a good drive, could have got within a point, possibly go for 2 to tie the game. Instead, it goes the other way. They're now down by 15 points. 3rd and 4, USC in a great position to pick up a first down, but again, they're going to get off schedule. Drake London down here is going to be called for offensive pass interference as he tries to run his route here. Could have easily been a no call. Instead, USC doesn't get this first down. Would have been a nice pickup from Katie Nixon, a 15-yard pass play. They throw the flag here, and you're going to see it come in right now. Super late is going to come in. They're going to throw that flag. But USC then is backed up, becomes a 3rd and 20, and they're not able to pick up that first down. So a huge call right here hurts USC. And, they had an opportunity. If they drive down, they can regain the momentum a little bit and be down a score. Instead, they have to punt the ball back. It's their 2nd straight 3 and out. They'll have a 3rd one after this. Stanford will answer along the way each time. They're going to put 35 up on the board, 42 up on the board. Suddenly, early in the 4th quarter, all the USC fans are gone, and it's 42-13. It was a rough night for USC's cornerbacks, and in particular Isaac Taylor-Stewart. Stanford really tried to attack him, and John Humphreys makes him look silly on this play. He's going to, looks like he's going to be running a fade. He puts on the brakes. Isaac Taylor-Stewart goes the wrong direction, and then to add insult to injury, he gets the stiff arm to the face mask, and John Humphreys goes for about 20 yards on the easy short pass and catch from Tanner McKee. Just another play that the USC was struggling to make on the outside. That was where Stanford was winning all their one-on-one matchups, and USC was really struggling. Here's a play that just kind of baffled me. It's 35-13. Like I said, USC's cornerbacks have really been struggling in this game, have been getting worked by a former walk-on receiver in Bryson Tremaine and a second-year guy in John Humphreys. And USC is going to get an incompletion here over the middle. But check out the bottom here. We're going to watch Chris Steele, and we're going to see that after the incompletion, he's got something to say to the Stanford sideline. Even though it's 35-13, he wants to, let them know about that incompletion, I guess. This is the last play we're going to look at here. We're trying to end on a positive note, but can't even really end on that. Jude Wolfe here is going to have a nice block here. He's going to blow up the defensive end. He's going to be coming across from the H-back position. We'll see him here come across and blow up a guy here. I mean, take him out, right out. But then he stands over him and tells him about it, and suddenly there's a 15-yard penalty, just indicative of how USC couldn't get out of its own way in this game. They will score on this drive, and they'll score on the final drive to make the final score look a little bit closer at 42-28 for the East Coast people that didn't stay up to watch this. But it's this 29-point margin of defeat here in the fourth quarter when there was no one left in the stands that really stands out in a game where USC was favored by 17 points. Started with the small stuff, but there were also some big things in there as well.